Last session, the company set off from their camp late in the morning, having had their rest interrupted by a wolf attack the night before. With Rook at the reins, the company headed through the nearby orchard to reach Vindsvept, a quaint village distinguished by the numerous decorated fairy mounts, wooden charms, and the enormous tree at the village's centre, with the expansive Tarnished Forest as the village's backdrop. You quickly made your way to the village's only tavern, the Hair of the Blink Dog, got the horses and cart settled, and secured yourselves a place to sleep for the night. The tavern was mostly empty, aside from a passed-out patron and the barkeep, Hernan, who was lamenting his drop in business, given the hill giants preventing travel down south. You asked the barkeep for any tips on traversing the Tarnished Forest, which is known for having some lingering influence from the Feywild. Not having much first-hand experience, Hernan recounted that many of his travelling patrons would keep a close eye on the direction of the river's flow to keep bear on their surroundings, as the forest is rather overgrown and the path can be difficult to follow. Coincidentally, he also told tale of a group that had recently left to travel through the forest to reach Milan to help repair the bridge. It's been about 10 days and he was waiting on a message of the group's arrival from the barkeep in the Cuckoo's Pint. Hernan did suggest, however, that you speak with a practitioner at the apothecary for better tips about what to expect in the forest itself. Before heading over to the apothecary, you unloaded your heavier belongings in the rooms upstairs, when Rook and Roshana heard a thumping sound. Unable to figure out where the sound was coming from, you decided it best to ignore it for the time being, putting the sound down to some fey-nonsense. You headed over to the apothecary, where you met a strange individual with green skin, pointed ears, white hair, and sporting a pointed goatee, exaggerating his already pointed chin. This individual was keen to engage in trade of magical items for tinctures and potions, and most importantly, information. You exchanged some torpor poison for some Wizen wort snout tea, and received a potion of maximum power in exchange for some of your runner coffee beans. And you garnered some advice, learning that hunting when your stocks are plentiful is not received well by the forest. You are, however, permitted to forage so long as you do not pluck all the fruits or produce, as this can render certain plants incapable of growing more. You also learned of some of the plants that could be found within the forest, in exchange for some loose information about another sentient plant that is nestled at the back of Vayne's mind. After a bit of back and forth, you learned that the forest has become angry as of late, with the arrival of hounds. Rook mentioned that you had encountered wolves on your journey here. However, the shopkeep dismissed it, as he had heard tale of a wolf problem around Verdenvoort and Bernabes, and those wolves had likely just travelled close to Vindsvept. The shopkeep seemed assured that the wolves would not be an issue, given the protective magics and charms around Vindsvept, attributing it, though dubiously, to the forces of the Forest Guardian. You asked more about the Forest Guardian, who you know already to be that of a giant white elk or stag, though the shopkeep seemed sceptical, having never seen it himself or heard tale from anyone else of any sightings in recent times. Unable to pull any more information out of this individual, you headed back to the Hair of the Blink Dog for some much needed lunch. As you paid for your overpriced fennel soup and settled down to eat, Rook heard the thumping sound once more, directly beside him, and with a bamf, beside you appeared an older, slightly chonky black dog, with a white powdered snoot and white-tipped ears. As the dog wagged its tail, it would knock against the floor, presumably causing the thumping noise Rook and Roshana heard earlier. Hernan explained that the dog, a blink dog, you figured, belonged to Hernan's father and his father before him, and that he was named Blink Boy. You spent the next few hours giving Blink Boy all of the attention, up until dusk, when the workers came in from the orchard for their dinner and drinks. While Vayne was playing at the piano, he had the displeasure of engaging in a very drunken conversation with Arthur Morsaw, a businessman from Acklewind Barrel Makers, trying to wrestle a deal from Hernan to start a major woodcutting operation here in the forest. A young woman also caught a hold of Rook's attention, as she had heard that a group of adventurers were travelling through the forest to Milan. This lady, Bernette Darlin, told you that her husband Tom had travelled with a group through the forest to fix the bridge in Milan. It has been about 10 days since they left off, ample time for knowing locals to traverse the forest, but they have yet to hear from them on the other side. Hernan piped up at this point and said that he would notify Bernette as soon as he heard from the barkeep in the Cuckoo's Pint. With some help from Vayne, you got a visual of Tom Darlin and promised to keep an eye out for him during your travels. The woman thanked you and left for the evening. At the bar, Rook was in the unfortunate position of being present when the patron who had been passed out since before your arrival in the afternoon stirred awake and started barking for a drink once more. From the other side of the bar, Vayne kept an eye on the angry drunkard and the conversation he had with Hernan and with himself. At some point he muttered, "Idiot boy, wait till I get my hands on him." Kato invited Roshana for another round of arm wrestling, which garnered the attention of the company and the surrounding patrons. After 2 slam dunks by Roshana, Kato swapped over to his non-wolf arm, or the arm that did not sustain the bite injury from the wolf, and he just managed to bring Roshana's arm down this time. Money was exchanged, and you got some coin for the entertainment that you provided. With all the noise, you startled awake Mr. Arthur Morsor from his drunken slump at your previous table, who then proceeded to stumble outside. You thought little of it until Vayne spotted Blinkboy, who had previously been relishing the attention from the patrons, walk over to the door and look out after Mr. Morsor, his little ears perked up with concern. Concerned that Blinkboy was concerned, you chased after the wobbling businessman, all the way around the large tree in the centre of the village, before he waddled off between 2 houses and came closer to the forest edge. Unsure of what was going on, you followed behind to watch Mr. Morsor dig a hole with his bare hands into the ground. Just as you were about to ask what he was doing, Mr. Morsor then screamed into the hole that he had dug. The intensity of the screaming, unfortunately, also brought up the remnants of his last meal and then some, before Mr. Morsor began scooping the unearthed dirt back into the hole again. Completely bewildered by what had just happened, and by the fact that Mr. Morsor now seemed to be relieving himself on the aforementioned pile, you eventually directed him back to where he was staying, the Hair of the Blink Dog Tavern and Inn, where he had just walked out of. In order to understand his garbled words better, Vayne casted Comprehend Languages, which, interestingly, let him communicate with Blinkboy, seeing as Blink Dogs have their own language. Blinkboy expressed that Mr. Morsor was stinky, and with that adequate explanation out of the way, you will return to the tavern. Rook and Vayne put Mr. Morsor to bed, but did not leave without rifling through his belongings and uncovering a rather measly contract that Mr. Morsor had been tasked with getting Hernan to sign. Downstairs, you took the remainder of the spell's time to speak with Blinkboy, Rook speaking in Sylvan to the dog, and Vayne translating what Blinkboy had said in return. On the topic of the forest, Blinkboy expressed that the forest had smelled weird recently, and that he is very concerned. Blinkboy also mentioned that the angry drunkard's young were outside. Specifically, the bigger was in the forest, while the younger was just outside. At your request, Blinkboy brought you to the yard outside the school, where you found a small boy about 3 years of age, sat in the puddle and singing to himself. You approached the child, and on seeing the strangers' faces, he became quiet, until he saw Rook and proceeded to start crying. You tried to calm the poor child, even casting seeming to make yourselves all look human. However, the noise did alert the teacher, Sheila Forthrung, whose homestead was located at the back of the building. Unaware that the boy had been left for so long outside, she thanked you for noticing him, and asked for you to follow her inside so that she could explain. Rook and Roshana followed Miss Forthrung, where she cleaned up the young boy, called Toby, inside and set him to paint. Miss Forthrung explained that while she appreciated your help, she was hesitant to share such personal information of the children's to complete strangers passing through the town. When you asked Miss Forthrung about the young boy's brother, she stopped for a moment, before explaining that he, Tolbrin, was a good kid, but had issues at home, which you could certainly glean from the fact his young 3-year-old brother was left alone, in the dark, at the school gates. You explained that Tolbrin was alone in the forest, and you were worried for him, and Miss Forthrung became a lot more forthright about the situation, hoping that maybe you could do something in finding Tolbrin. Sheila explained that Tolbrin and Toby's mother, Risa Griff, went missing about 2 years ago, while Tolbrin was still in school. Tolbrin was a bright but rowdy child, and Mr. Dunlop took to drink after the mother's disappearance, which has led to this very situation. Sheila expressed her frustration at being unable to do more, as she is the sole teacher with about 20 children to look after during the day. She recognized that Mr. Dunlop is an unfit father as he is, but feels powerless in her ability to do anything. Tolbrin had gone missing a couple of weeks ago, but had been spotted by a few of the farmhands near the village recently. Roshana suggested that Tolbrin may have run off to look for his mother, and Blinkboy could potentially help you to sniff out his location. Sheila said that Tolbrin has grown up and played in the forest all of his life, so she is hopeful that he is all right. However, she did also express that it would be difficult to bring Tolbrin back, even if you did find him, given the circumstances at home. Meanwhile, Vayne and Kato headed over to the tavern to confront Mr. Dunlop. You sidled up to the bar and loudly asked Hernan which useless sack of shit left their child at the school. Though not immediately reacting to you, you did notice that Kyrgil's ears were turning red. When you addressed him directly, though, Kyrgil denied all knowledge. You doubled down with the message spell Vayne, leading to Kyrgil finally admitting that he was leaving now, and asked that you did not make a scene. After Kyrgil had left, Hernan said that when not placated with booze, Kyrgil could be aggressive and even violent. When Vayne mentioned that he saw Kyrgil talking to himself about possibly teaching him a lesson, Hernan explained that Tolbrin, his son, was at times difficult, and no wonder where he got it from, motioning to Kyrgil as he left. Vayne and Kato asked that Hernan keep an eye on Kyrgil and the kids, when possible, while you were away down south, with the hopes of having a longer chat with Kyrgil on your return. To this, Hernan agreed, stating that nearly everyone in the village was aware, but none were equipped to deal with Kyrgil or the placing of the children. Outside, Mr. Dunlop walked briskly over to the school, catching Rook and Roshana outside, who directed him towards the back. The company gathered around once more near the back of the building, listening to the shouts coming from inside. With Kyrgil's reappearance, Rook stood by a nearby tree and issued him a warning that violence would not be tolerated, and that the forest would not remain silent should it continue, before wall-shaping into a white elk and walking inwards towards the forest. Thoroughly freaked out, Kyrgil yanked up Toby and then ran back to his house in the residential area. With the immediate nonsense out of the way, Roshana explained to Kato and Vayne that Tolbrin was somewhere within the forest, and that you needed to look for him. With Elk Rook marking the trees with his horns, and Blink Boy marking his territory along the way, you headed into the forest in the midst of night. You checked out the forest around the residential area, but unfortunately could not find any tracks. With Blink Boy's direction towards the main path into the forest, you found cart tracks leading into the thicket proper. Rook took point by turning into a bear, with the rest of you keeping an eye out. Aside from the natural denizens of the forest and their tracks, and the weak-ish old tracks of the cart and adult footprints, no child tracks were found on the ground. After an hour, you decided to turn back, opting instead to keep an eye out while on the cart during your travels. You returned to the village of Vindsvept and into the tavern, to enjoy the clean, crisp cider on the house from Hernan before heading to bed. The next morning you arose, gathered your belongings and headed down for a hearty breakfast and Blink Boy pets. Hernan wished you well on your dangerous task ahead. You gave your goodbye pets to Blink Boy and collected the horses and cart. With Roshana at the reins, you coaxed the horses between the towering trees and entered into the forest. And that is where we will pick up. So, Roshana, we're holding the reins and ushering the horses forward. The company crosses.
Did we roll for survival? I think we did.
No, not yet.
Oh, okay. I will shut the fuck up.
So you guys cross the threshold into the Tarnished Forest itself. You see the towering trees around you, and although the canopy above, it does, block some of the sunlight, there is still considerably more light here than when you first ventured here last night, looking for the missing child.
Mm-hmm.
The sun warms you as the cart trundles forward. Though there is a slight breeze that rustles the leaves above and around you. The smell of rich brown earth being tossed up by the horses' hooves and the wheels fill your nostrils. Amongst the trees and the bushes, you see patches of wild grasses and reeds, and sparse pockets of bluebells that add a more vibrant color to your surroundings other than the sun-dappled greenery. It doesn't take long on your journey for this semblance of a path that you've been traveling over to begin to melt into the foliage and the debris decorating the forest floor. Now, whether this is due to a lesser amount of foot traffic or just the nature of the forest itself. It's uncertain. But you do hear the constant trickle and flow of water from the nearby river, flowing in the opposite direction to where you were traveling.
I would like to keep an ear out for that specific thing to make sure that we stay like within earshot of the river, like riverly, trickly river.
Alrighty.
Yes.
So, if that's the case, go ahead.
I assume that going through this forest, it's probably it's a much slower pace than we were going on the normal routes.
It's starting to become slower. Yeah.
Yeah. Once it gets a little bit denser and the road gives more way to the forest, Rook will start walking ahead of the cart and just like picking up and moving any debris that would likely get stuck in the cart.
Okay. Yeah. That sounds good. If that is the case, then, let's say, Rook, you're going ahead and you're checking out the surroundings to clear the path. I'd like you to make a survival check.
Mm-hmm.
Kato and Vayne, you're listing out specifically for the trickle of the river. If you could both give me perception checks, please. And then, Roshana, if you can give me a d20, please.
All right.
Can you do me a favour? Could you do my roll, because I can't get into the game again?
Okay.
I'm just going to quickly log out of Roll20 entirely. See if that, because it keeps saying something about a session issue. Also, tell me what you roll so I can say whether it's valid or not.
Opening it with the incognito window.
No, it's not on my normal one. I did try incognito, but
looks like you got a 6.
Seriously, there's one job. Apart from all the other jobs.
Alrighty. And Kato, you can roll as well if you'd like.
Sure.
Perception.
Yes. Very nice.
Did you roll higher or lower than 6? Oh, I might find out. Opening planar transport.
He's not with us yet, is he? Okay.
No. You carry on.
I'll
I'll keep trying to get in if I need to do anything.
Unfortunate.
So, with Rook walking up ahead, following the somewhat path, Rook, you do find the original tracks that you guys had made before, thankfully, from last night. Clearly distinguishable by the bear paw prints that you left. And with your knowledge of the wilds as well, you're able to discern where the forest has been pushed back to form this path. And between yourself and Roshana at the reins, and you clear out any uprooted roots and just general stones that have kind of found their way onto the path somehow, probably turned over by some animal looking for their grub. You guys make good time. You find yourselves getting further and further into the forest, at a pace that you weren't quite expecting, but it's certainly pleasant. The sun does begin to leave you around midday or so, and it does become a little bit more overcast and breezy. It's not a full drop of rain on you, but every now and then you do feel just like a little patter on your shoulder or on the top of your scalp, from where the clouds have just, leaked their waters just a little bit. Vayne, you do keep an eye out, or an ear out, I should say, on the river. You hear it trickling nearby. There are certain points during the travel, though, on this path that the sight that you have in the river itself, though, does leave you. But the
I will occasionally have to go to the toilet because I'm listening to the babbling brook constantly. Just thought I'd let you know.
Enlightening. Thank you.
Alrighty. You guys seem to be making good
try.
time. Is there anything else you'd like to do while on your journey?
Suppose keep an eye out for any of those special plants that we had been told about.
If I find like a, say, if Rook moves any pieces of like debris out of the road that look like I could whittle them a little bit, I'll grab one and just kind of whittle away while we go. But if there's not anything like, I want to say like a musical box size ish, kind of like that size, then I will not bother. But I'm literally just going to whittle out like a little shape of some kind.
You do see a lot of the debris here is rather large. The trees in
Okay,
this
I want
area.
to make a double base. Probably not that large.
No.
Okay.
The trees here are rather large. They are old. This is definitely an old forest. Rook, with your keen sense of and the attachment that you have very slightly to the Fae, you do keep an eye out for it, but for a supposed Fae forest, this seems rather, I don't want to say mundane, but it's quiet.
I don't believe it. I'm very
think it's very
suspicious.
I'm suspicious with you, friend.
There is plenty of birds chirping, and every now and then you do see, like, out of the corner of your eye, something darts where a little rabbit burrows into its hole as soon as it sees a very, well, to it, a large figure standing nearby. If you want to have a look for the plants in the forest, Rook, you can also give me an investigation check.
Cool.
Very nice.
Very nice. I don't know what it was.
It was a 22.
22.
It is very nice. Good job. Proud of you.
Yeah, you're in my house now, bitch.
Oh no.
You're not certain if they're magical, but at some point, amidst the grasses and the reeds that are nearby, you do see these large daisies. Like, certainly a lot larger than you'd see on the trimmed lawns within the Arcane District, the public gardens and
Miracle.
whatnot. These ones look like they could. You'd have to use two hands to hold the flower head itself.
Ooh.
It's quite large.
Are there many of them?
I'd say there's about half a dozen here from the same plant. They seem to be sprouting out in different directions.
Okay, I'll give it a friendly poke just to make sure that there's not any sort of like critter hanging around them. And if all is free, then I'll take two.
Okay.
Just so I can keep an eye and look at them and get a feel for their vibe as we travel.
You're ready. Yep. So you snip them just beneath the leaves of the flower head itself.
Mm-hmm.
With the yoink, you've got these two little, I say little, they're hefty flower heads in your hands now. And you do see that the pollen does, even as you cut them, they kind of like dust yellow everywhere. But it doesn't seem to be, dangerous in any kind of way. It's just, probably a plant that the bees love.
I will keep it on me in case I find a particularly antagonistic bee.
Good plan. Well,
Huzzah, I fixed it.
well done.
Nice.
I was here all along. Carry on. Whittle, whittle, whittle. I don't have a bit of wood. Whittle, whittle, whittle.
Hey, Vayne, I found a big flower.
When you're holding it, it looks especially big.
Thanks.
No problem.
What?
Anytime.
Okay.
Can I like? Obviously, I see him holding the flowers. He's got the book of the vegetation of the Tarnished Forest, or vegetation. That's weird, I guess. Does that show up in the book anywhere?
I don't know. Both of these take my 2 hands.
Oh, I don't know if I found a piece of wood, but if I did, I'll put it down.
Yeah,
I'll
you did
hold
find a
it.
piece of wood.
I'll hold a daisy,
Yeah,
and I'll say,
I'll,
"These are marigolds."
I'll skim through my book of plants and herbs to see if there's anything that meets their description.
Can I give it a sniff? Because what bad thing has ever happened in a fey forest when you sniff a flower?
Oh gosh.
Hey, I'm just going off of Puss in Boots too. You just got to take the time to sniff the roses.
Oh my god. Rook, you take a, after dusting your hands off of any of the pollen that's clung to them now, you take a quick flick through the booklet that you have on very rudimentary herbs and whatnot that can be used to make potions. These flowers don't seem to be in it.
Big red letters that say "Do not sniff."
But,
Shit.
Well, we can just put them on the wagon, and then perhaps you and I, Vayne, can mess around with the herbalisms kit later and see if we can figure out if they have any properties.
Yes, sounds fun.
yeah. And you take a sniff of it, Vayne. It's very lightly perfumed. Like, for the size of the flower, it definitely doesn't have a strong smell.
Okay, so it's not like overpowering because
No,
of the
not
size.
at all.
It's
No.
still okay. Cool. I will. I'll pop it down with where Rook puts his, and then I'll ask if I could take a quick flick through his book as well, if possible. May I have a quick look through that?
Yeah, sure.
There you are. And I will have a flip through and look for anything of medicinal value.
Alrighty. Well, there's certainly a lot of things of medicinal value.
No, I want you to name every single one of them.
No,
In
they're
order.
effects.
I want page number. I want effects. I want a picture. No, okay. Yeah, that's basically it. And then once he's done with that, he'll give the book back and continue whittling away. I'm gonna make a little wooden horsey that looks vaguely like Steph, not Tiff. Tiff's been a bit touchy. Steph first, then Tiff later.
Jesus Christ.
No, Steph.
He wants no part of this.
I don't.
Okay, I'll make a small wooden figure of Jesus Christ if that is what you want.
Oh my god.
You continue on your travel.
There we
Face
go.
it.
You continue on your travel. As the sun does begin its descent, it does get a little bit cold. As it's out there to warm you on your journey, and that breeze that you feel is ever present in the sense that it ruffles past you every now and then. And just as you feel like you're warming up, it chills you a little bit again before it disappears. I'd like someone else to make me a D20 roll, please.
Doing it. 1d20. Coming up. 3,
And
1.
Rook, if you'd like to give me another survival check as well, please.
Sure.
That's exactly a 10. Is that good? Is that bad? We don't know. Probably bad.
Very nice. So yeah. As you continue on, Rook, you do find that the path is becoming a little bit more winding. It does pull away from the river every now and then. Roshana or Kato, you could also give me a perception check as well, if you want to keep tabs on the river.
Perception.
Oh!
Gosh.
Wow.
What the fuck?
Are you okay?
I think Kato's sick.
Oh my god.
Nobody address it.
Mm.
Just let it go.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
You continue on forward.
Totally normal.
As you're continuing on through the afternoon, your pace does drop. Not significantly, but you're not making as good a time as you were beforehand, Rook. You're having to yank a couple more routes out of the way, or have to help Roshana in carefully maneuvering the cart around a particularly soggy patch of earth that even the horses are like, don't want to touch that and get my hoof stuck. But yeah, you continue on. Kato keeping a careful ear out on the river as it trickles by. It's not within sight
We're
at
good.
the moment, but yeah, after a couple of hours,
Is the river running? So obviously the river runs past the village, where we've gone in. Have we had to kind of like skirt, like, not necessarily around it, but so I assume the river kind of it goes this way.
so the river, if you see the arrow head which way
Yeah,
it's pointing,
yeah.
it goes in this direction. It goes northerly.
Okay.
Northernly. There we go.
Okay, right. And where this thing is, yeah. Okay.
Somewhere.
I was trying to work out how far, like, away from the river we kind of are.
It kind of goes in and out. Sometimes you're very close to
Yeah.
it, and other times it pulls away entirely.
Okay.
One thing we
This
know
is-
for certain is eventually we'll have the cross.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a definite.
Okay. Next time we get close enough to see it, can I like have a look? I want to see if the water's like made out of syrup or something.
Okay.
Made out of syrup.
I don't know. I've seen Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory.
Vayne's got a strange definition of what a fey forest is.
Mm.
Vayne doesn't know what a fade forest is.
Where are all the candy bars? And
The chocolate river.
Alrighty.
Oompa Loompas everywhere.
You can't call them that. They're gnomes.
I'm
God's sake.
sorry.
Oh my
the
god.
Snurf
Why are they
Nibbling will be
tanning like
outraged.
that?
Oh my god.
They're Snurf nibbling.
Wow. This.
Uh,
Oh man. This is.
I know it's normally you, right?
Continue, please.
This, just being in the proximity of the mountains and the hill range to your to the east, we'll say.
Wait.
And with the canopy above, it does become quite dark quite quickly.
I was going to say, I think last session as well, we agreed that the sun's rising east. Like, so, what time-ish does it get nighty? Because
8
obviously
o'clock?
the mountains. I have a friend with a clockwork amulet. That's kind of like a clock. All right.
You're not sure.
Oh my gosh.
Shucks.
Shucks, indeed. And with the canopy above, it does get dark pretty quickly, and it's at this point that you start to feel that those little pits and pats of water droplets on you are starting to become a little bit more consistent and heavier.
It's do we care to press on through this, or are we
On
going
our
to
first
try and find a clearing there?
on our first day in, we probably shouldn't push too hard.
Yes, that's what I was thinking. Perhaps keep on the road and see if we can find a small clearing that we could set up camp.
I don't know if we'll be able to find a clearing, but we might be best to look for a tree that has a good canopy on it to block out the elements.
Yes, well,
Indeed.
you're the forest expert.
Yeah, I'll look for somewhere reasonably close that that blocks the rain.
Yeah, and give me another survival check, please, too.
Will
Find a
do.
wee patch.
Can I give? Okay, don't.
You can still give it. I mean,
I don't think I need. Unless we're going to find a small hotel.
come in.
Hello.
We won't
Fancy
all.
seeing you're here, Trevor.
We can't fit into fairy houses.
True.
Oh no.
Not yet. Wait
Yeah.
until they use their magic, and then we'll be fine.
You do find that you do have to pull away from the river a little bit, Rook, as the water quickly soaks into the ground and then begins to run downwards into the river itself. You eventually, pulling away from the river, you can still hear it, but pulling away from it, you, do eventually find a large enough tree that, it offers some cover for you. Definitely redirects the flow of the rainwater away from you. You see the water around this little camp that you're setting up is starting to build a little bit. But the area you are in is dry, and you guys are free to set up camp.
Geese.
Hooray.
I'll put a couple of druidic marks on the trees that are in the direction of the river from where our camp is,
Okay.
just in case anything shifts or we are disoriented when we get up.
Smart. Vayne will put up the tents and put up the tents and kind of maybe prep some feed for the horses, depending on how quickly the tents go up.
I meant to say, because I think we should be careful in case this journey takes longer than expected, because for a lot of us it's first time going out into these territories. I've decided perhaps we should be more cautious with our cold supplies and our meats, so I prepared a spell for today, and I'll cast Goodberry and
Very nice.
produce 10 berries in my hand.
Nice.
Do they work on horse?
It works on anything that's designated as a creature. And it has all your
Interesting.
daily caloric needs.
Sorry, it just sounds so weird hearing Rook saying such scientific.
Yeah, I've been tracking your guys' macros, and I've attuned the
It contains all
berries.
your required nootropics and electrolytes.
Assuming we all get the 8 hours sleep, this should be fine.
Yes, sounds good.
Extra protein in your good berry, Roshana.
Thank you very much.
Don't ask me how that works.
I don't want to know.
Yeah. I will give a good berry to the horses then.
Yeah.
Or actually, you can give a good berry to the horses. I'm just going to put them.
No, you need to make up for. You need to redeem yourself in their eyes. You should give them the good berry.
I'm making them a small horse, okay?
I don't think they care.
I know. How will they use it? They don't have fingers. Okay, I'll give. I hand a good berry to. I feed a good berry to the horses.
They kind of eye you warily, but as soon as you come bearing
Yeah.
snacks,
If they seem ginger about having it, I'll eat one. I'll eat my one, and to show them it's okay.
and they happily gobble up, or they, with their lips, they kind of
Nom.
yum, yum, mouth around your hand until they
Yep.
find the good berry, and then they burst it between.
Now your hand
teeth.
is soaked.
Yep. Ah, just what I expected. I will wipe my hand on anything around that is not a horse mouth. Maybe I'll stroke their mane. There you go.
Alrighty. And as you guys are settling down, it's almost like a comfortable feeling in that while there is that slight chill in the air and that odd raindrop that travels errantly down the trees, the tree branches and the leaves above, that hits you when you aren't expecting it. It's a comfortable little place that you've set up for yourselves. Are you setting up a campfire, or you just gonna?
Is it cold?
It is a bit nippy, yeah.
Probably
given,
should.
Given it's only been a few hours since you've seen the sun,
Hmm.
imagine it could get
It'll probably
colder.
get colder.
Yeah.
Probably do a small fire, like just one to tide us over, because obviously after we've eaten and we are gonna bunk down, we'll have our sleeping stuff on, and we can put the sleeping jackets over the horses. So hopefully that keeps us warm enough. Just don't want to give away our position too early on, so we can be tracked by all of the fey shit. With their fey plans.
So yes, we'll make a small fire.
Yes, sorry. That was basically what I was saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got there in the end. Okay.
I mean, I did start the sentence by saying, I think a small fire.
That comforting scent of wood fire crackling before you. Again, you get the whole tss, tss as an errant raindrop hits it, but it keeps. And certainly warms through you. Get the scent of the smoke from the fire itself and the slightly sulfuric smell from the loose earth that has been wetted. The air from the earth escaping as water drips down.
I'm not going to move because obviously we don't know where we are. I'm not going to move the thing, just so it's vaguely in there.
Oh, you mean the little
Some-
rectangle you've got?
Yeah, our little carriage, which is not a carriage, it's a wreck. But yeah, because obviously you'll know where we are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You could probably move it to the DM layer and then just track yourself. If you
I
need
don't
to.
have access to that.
Not you.
I know I was pretending to be the DM earlier.
I'm sorry, I fooled you.
Shucks. How could you?
Okay. I'm just gonna push it. Oh no, I fucked it up. Never mind.
Tara, we can't see you fucking it up.
I
it's
know.
fine.
No, our carriage is broken again.
Give it away.
No, our square, our rectangle.
Speaking of carriage being broken, after I've done the tents and fed the horses, I want to look around the caravan, the cart, whatever the fuck we have, the RV, tour bus, and just make sure the wheels are all still on and that yada yada usual.
That they are.
Hooray!
Eventually, I'm assuming you're gonna go to sleep at some point. Do you guys
Well,
want to
yeah,
do
I mean, that-
watches, or are you gonna free fall
yeah.
through?
Usual watches, I think.
Vayne go. I think. Did we say Rook would rather do the middle sort of end ones?
Yeah, the Rook's fine doing the end one because he gets up early anyway.
Okay.
I can take first.
I'm gonna do
Okay.
any of them, to be honest. Well, I can take second or third, depending on what Roshana wants to do.
I'll take second.
Okay.
I will take third.
Ready. So it becomes increasingly dark. And with the canopy above, you can't really see the sky above you from where you're sat. But,
Sad rook noises.
Kato, you nestle up against the fire, I'm presuming. Just keep an eye out.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. And if you just give me a perception check, please. I'm assuming it's with the
Okay.
Green Lantern goggles.
Indeed.
Don't talk about it. I'm fully with Rook that this will just ignore it and it will keep happening. Shh. I should be quiet.
You scan your eyes over the horizon, Kato. So it's all of it is very close, given how you just happen to be in the proximity of the trees, and you're off the beaten path. You listen to the incessant pitter-pattering of the rain onto the ground around you, and it's peaceful. Is there anything you would like to do? Anything else you'd like to do during your watch, I should say?
Nothing I can think of at the moment.
Okay. If that's the case, then your watch comes to a close.
Okay.
Time to wake Roshana.
Just a small tap on the ankle.
It's my
You're up.
turn. Okay. Okay. I'm up.
Keep your eyes open, and I will go to sleep.
Oh, righty. Roshana, if you can give me a perception check, please. Oh, damn!
Oh, I
A
see.
double D20.
A double
20.
double.
A double. I see everything.
It's 27 vision.
And in some ways, thankfully, everything is very much the same. It's a calming feeling being here with the constant dripping of the water.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're like Vayne and you need to use the bathroom, but aside from
But-
that,
I don't think it's unusual if you're driving past a river for an entire day to need the toilet once or twice. I'm not saying he was incontinent, I was just saying he might need to go. I just didn't want to cause a scene.
is there anything else you'd like to do on your watch, Roshana?
Meanwhile, I will be braiding the horses' manes.
Okay. Very nice.
They deserve some TLC, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You do a nice job of it. Yeah. Keeping an eye out, and the horses seem quite calm as well. Not suspecting any danger of themselves. And soon your watch comes to a close.
I'll go on the wake Vayne.
Yeah.
I'll shake him a little bit on the shoulder.
Hello.
How-
Yes. Hello.
It's
I'm
your
up.
turn. Yes.
Come on. Vayne will kind of, with the eyes still closed, sit up and get out of the tent.
Open those eyes.
Yes. I'm just making sure that they're, adjusted to the darkness. And then I'll go out and open my eyes and
Yep.
find somewhere nice to sit.
Mhm.
Ideally, that's close to the remnants of the fire.
Yeah, it is starting to dwindle at this point, and the rain is definitely helping it on.
I will pull out my +1 dagger and the piece of wood that I was messing around with and continue whittling while I watch.
Yep.
And perception.
Yes, please. Okay.
You know when I said I opened my eyes, I was lying. It was me all along.
So yeah, it's you're finding it pretty tough. You managed to peel your eyes open the once, Vayne, to settle yourself down. But with the cold and the incessant rhythmic dripping of the rain, you do find yourself swaying in your spot slightly, your eyes drooping every now and then. They shoot open once more as you're looking around into the darkness, catching the shapes of just the trees around you and a couple of bushes.
The way
Few
you said
plants
that was
and
very
reeds.
mean.
Sorry. A few plants and reeds that are rustling slightly underneath the weight of the water, hitting it. Rook, naturally being an early morning waker, you do find yourself stirring. Takes you a moment to realize where you are, and then you go, oh, forest. Yeah.
I'll roll out of the tent.
Yep.
And see who was supposed to wake me up.
You see, Vayne is very softly snoring in his little dumpling position with the blankets around his shoulders.
Okay.
Yes, I am a professional singer.
I'll go over and just like bap him on the head with my staff.
Yeah. I was just
Justice.
about to come and wake you up.
Yeah. Why don't you do the first half of that?
Wait,
Go
what?
into the tent, Vayne.
Okay, bye.
Yeah.
He like crawls over to the tent and just collapses.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Rook will just pull his like big like throw thing, his big like fur over him and sort of sit up beside a tree and just start keeping watch.
Yeah. Give me a perception check, please. Very nice. As you're settling down, Rook, getting ready for the next 2 hours of just keeping your perception open, all senses, you do take a look to where you had written in Druidic on a couple of the trees, and the marking is gone.
I'll take a couple of steps from where we set up camp.
Yep.
And put my hand to the ground to see if I can still feel like any of the water running towards like where I assumed the river would be.
Yep. The tremble that you find is very, very faint. And even the sky above you is starting to lighten up a bit, and so is the rain. You seem to be precisely where you were. I mean, aside from the markings gone, the scenery around you seems to be the same.
Okay, so if it's fair to assume that maybe just the tree repaired itself.
Possibly.
I won't do anything yet, but I'll just keep a much more active eye, and I'll pop my head into both the tents just to make sure everyone's where they're supposed to be, without waking anyone.
Yeah. And thankfully, your watch also does come to a close as well. Uneventful.
Okay, I'll go over and I'll bop Vayne on the head again. It's time to get up.
Yes, I was just about to come and... Oh, no, done that bit.
Yeah. I'm gonna go wake the other two, and if you're still in here by the time I get back, I'm going to bap you again.
Very, very well, that seems fair.
So go over and gently rouse the other two.
Gently. Yes.
Vayne turns over.
With my sultry tones.
Okay.
Hey guys,
Rook.
sun's getting real high.
Morning.
Morning. Everything was fine. It looks like the marks I left are gone, but it looks like we're still in the same area.
I'll go outside and check that we're still in the same area.
Sure. You can give me a perception check if you like.
There we go.
Boy.
I mean, it looks familiar. Having grown up near the forest yourself, you know how easy it is to become lost in woods. No less woods that are a bit finicky to travel. You feel like you kind of have to take Rook's word in it.
Hmm.
Vayne will stumble out of his tent and start packing up.
Yeah, okay.
Help with the packing up.
Oh, everyone's watch go well?
Uh-huh.
Good. Breakfast.
I have 4 good berries left over. We only used 6 yesterday and they last for 24 hours.
Ooh, may I?
Sure.
They're quite tasty. I'll pick one up.
Uh-huh.
Have one. And I'll eat it as I pack the tent up and turn in my sleeping bag and kind of stuff it in my bag and stuff.
Yeah. You do feel as you're eating the second good berry that it does sit quite heavily in your stomach. Being quite full.
Hmm.
Now wait a couple more hours to still exist. You could sort of hang on to it, but to each their own. Put mine in my pocket.
Oh, well, I didn't know if they disappeared or something. It's fine. I'll have a sit down. Just enjoy the full feeling while we can.
I'm gonna check my belongings.
Okay. Give me an investigation check, please. Very nice. Kato, you do find one of your rations is missing.
Son of a bitch. I'm missing a ration.
Sure,
Anyone
you
else?
didn't eat it?
Kind of gives you like an incredulous look. Yes, I'm sure. So everyone check your belongings. Make sure you still have everything.
I do so.
Okay. If
Also
you're
do so.
carrying rations on your person, you are down -1.
This
Does that
is why I
include
never carry rations.
does that include rations inside the bag of clothing?
As you take a look inside the bag of clothing, you notice there are 2 missing.
No. The good rations.
It begins.
You could have asked for a good berry.
Oh, bastards! Yeah, all of my rations are with the other stuff because I didn't have any. Someone else used to deal with that in the caravan, so I assume that's why 2 are missing. How strange. Did anyone see or hear anything last night? Or have a snack, perhaps?
No, nothing.
I look at the two horses.
Yeah, they're kind of
Probably.
They have
Ears start
stunning
shaking
braids, but
around.
that's it.
Yeah, I look at the two horses and go, very good looking. They suit you.
Well, I don't know if we've got to gain much by dwelling on it here. Till we hit the road. Or what we can see of it.
Yes, I think so.
Mm-hmm.
well,
Uh,
righty.
I will hop up on the brum brum.
I think it's more the clop clop, but sure.
I mean, I paint a single go faster racing stripe on each horse.
Oh.
Oh my god.
Okay, Vayne, are you taking the reins then?
I would like to today.
Alrighty. Who is going to do the navigation?
I will.
Okay. You doing the same as before, Rook, walking ahead and
Yeah.
clearing the
Yeah.
debris. Alrighty. And Kato and Roshana, what are you guys up to?
Listening to the river.
Okay.
Yeah, probably same.
Okay.
Oh dear.
Why is
I mean-
why is land vehicles strength and not charisma? That's my question. I could sweet talk this cart into doing my bidding. Sure.
Okay. So, Rook, you can give me a survival check, please, and the other two, if you can give me a perception, please.
Oh no.
Oh no!
Oh.
Hmm.
+7 coming in clutch.
Yeah, I'm walking ahead of the group, but I'm very like clearly looking back and checking on Vayne way too often
Mm-hmm.
to actually be doing my job.
Hmm.
Actually, Kato, if you can give me a d20, please.
Okay.
Just because you happen to be the last person to roll. Okay.
We're all gonna die. Or hotel. One of them.
As you guide the horses back down this small little path that you had carved for yourself last night, you do feel seemingly out of nowhere a couple of branches or roots, so to speak, have found themselves between the spokes of the wheels, and you hear a crunching sound as the wheel continues on, but you have to stop to hop out,
So
remove some
Uh,
of the
the
brush.
wheel.
Yeah, I'll look. What's up with the wheel?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Oh no, no, just root. Sorry, had gotten caught in it.
Oh, I see. Oh,
Yeah.
oh, that's not good.
The crunch wasn't the wheel coming off.
No, it was just the root.
It was just
Getting
the
caught.
root.
Ah.
Okay.
Ah, I see.
Can I hop down and like not like cut the root, but and actually like I'll try and untangle it.
I mean, it has
Without
like
damage
been
or-
ripped from the tree that it was on.
Oh,
Yeah, that's the crunch sound.
can I untangle it and then go and give it back?
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, you managed
My
to
bad.
yoink it free and continue on.
Go like dig a little hole next to the tree and just plant the root in and go. There you go.
Yep. So you continue forward with Rook navigating up ahead, and Rook, it's becoming much harder to discern where the path ahead is meant to go. You don't really see one. It's the ground is in various stages of being quite soggy from last night, and then other patches you see that look almost to be like swamp. And you figure if you bring the cart into that, you might lose it, or it's going to be very difficult to pull it out. So your travel today is considerably slowed down as you're trying to find the right path. And even when you decide to commit to a certain point of travel, you find that the trees are becoming much closer together, and you're having to coax the cart into very awkward positions, and the horses are becoming quite miffed. And you hear them panting as they're having to pull the cart through even just a couple of inches of sludge. You manage to keep hold of the position of the river, although, once more, you are weaving closer and further away from it the whole time throughout the forest. The only kind of, I suppose, saving grace that you have is that it is quite sunny today. And at little points in the earth, you do see that the water that has been dripped down onto it from last night is starting to evaporate a little bit into a very, very fine mist. But you are warmed. Is there anything else that you guys would like to do during this leg of the journey?
Just drive. From Vayne's perspective, it's just trying to ease the horses as easily as possible. If that makes sense. Just trying to get there without breaking anything.
Mm-hmm. And how about the rest of you?
Nothing comes to mind.
Mm-hmm.
I think Rook's too preoccupied trying to keep the cart moving.
Yeah.
To worry about looking for any additional plants today.
Yeah. No worries. That's the case then. Come around to afternoon time. Rook, if you want to give me another survival check, please.
Will do.
Vayne, you can give me a cart check. What's
What is a car check?
the
Just vehicles.
lands? Yeah.
Okay, right. It's double what it was.
And Roshana and Kato, one of you can make a perception, the other can make survival. Sorry, perception, and the other can make a d20.
I can do perception.
I'll do the D20.
Okay.
At some point, like if we come to a stop at any point, I'll also remind Rook about the midnight magigook.
Oh well.
Just like what they looked like, just in case the book didn't have them. And I'm not sure if it did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, flicking through the book, you don't see any midnight magic in the book itself. It seems
Okay,
like to
yes,
be a
I'll
very
remind.
generic herbalism book.
Yeah.
You recognize quite a few of the herbs yourself, being from, well, one of the well-known herb-growing regions in Cadmia.
Yeah.
There's a couple that you haven't seen before that seem to be a bit more native to Colburn, but nothing exotic
mostly
or
generic.
extravagant. Nothing like the plants that you're seeing here in the forest.
Okay. Yeah, as I say, I'll just remind Rook that when he's keeping an eye out for plants, what a midnight magigook looks like.
Mm-hmm.
From that guy that told us what it looks like.
Yeah. Rook, after a good couple of hours of scouring, you do eventually find some sturdier land that has been baked by the sun and hasn't received as much of the rain, you think. It's definitely a lot drier, and you direct Vayne onto this patch of land, and you continue on forward with a much better speed than you were previously. You feel that you are delving further and further into the forest, though, and at some point, Kato, you realize that you can't hear the trickle of the river anymore.
And how far into the day are we?
It was roughly afternoon time, getting towards evening.
If this area is more baked by the sun, is there a clearer view of the sky?
There is the the leaf cover here isn't as grand.
If the leaf cover isn't as grand, are the trees a little bit more sort of spaced out so Rook can be less like obviously there's still a forest, but is it a little bit easier than it previously was to just maneuver around?
It would
Trees.
most definitely easier to move around. But that being said, you do
Still a
see
pain.
a couple of the trees, they are missing a good bunch of their leaves.
We should try to really catch up with the river again. If we
Yes,
don't find
definitely.
it by the time it gets later, I'll see if I can tell which direction is north from the sky. At least we know if we head south, we should get where we need to go, even if it takes longer. And if we go south, we should hit the river eventually.
That sounds good. I'm gonna. So, mechanic question: if I'm just maneuvering the car, can I cast a concentration spell at the same time, or is that like? Does that feel like that? I'm kind of like feel like that. You need to concentrate on one thing.
No, like concentration is for like specific spells, but you can do other things that don't require concentration during them.
Yeah. I just meant because obviously
Like
we're
you
having
can,
to maneuver
honestly.
the car around.
I don't see a
Okay,
massive
cool.
issue with it. Like unless you're in battle and you decide to do something else that is kind of like off the wall and another spell with concentration.
This
This is
is
fine.
nothing off the wall. I would just like to cast detect magic.
Okay. That you do.
Bonk. Yay! And then I'll just keep that up for the 10 minutes and continue on our journey.
Alrighty. Rook, if you can give me a survival check, please. Looking up to the sky.
Will do.
17. Yeah. Given the placement of the sun, you have a fairly good idea of which way is south.
We should head in that direction.
I
Hopefully
head in
we'll
that
hit
direction.
We'll hit the river soon.
You said the trees here were like had a little bit less leaves than the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
In the sense that they're of a particular genus that has less trees, or less leaves, or does it look like they're a bit more sickly?
That's why I put detect magic
Give
up.
me a nature check, please.
I was like, maybe something's happening here that's causing the little kind of
Can I use guidance?
Sure.
Cool.
less
18.
foliage.
18. They don't seem to be sickly in any way. If anything, they look a bit battered. You do see a couple of the branches have been torn down, but honestly, looking at it, there's no marks or anything. Could have just been the wind.
Yeah, more open to the elements.
Yeah, blustery night. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So you turn down.
I'll just I'll follow Rook's south direction, keeping the detect magic up for as long as it will be, and yeah, just sort of following along.
Yeah. And after about an hour or two so of travel, you find that the sky is becoming night-like again. The canopy takes over once more as you're heading south, southernly.
Southernly. Does everyone want to pull up for the night, or should we push on for a little bit more? See if we can find the river again.
If we hit the river, then we'll hit the watery, more marsh terrain. It'll be difficult to find an area to set up.
That's a fair point. Are you confident now that the cover's getting a bit more dense, that you'll be able to find south again for us?
If I really need to, I can just climb and break the tree line.
Ah, yes, of course.
I was thinking
Lovely.
the same thing.
Okay, well, shall we pull up here? And seems as good a place as any.
Sounds good.
I'll
And
sort of pull the carriage around and pull up.
sure, just give me a survival check, please, Vayne.
Ah! Oh, that's stealth. Survival. 9.
All right.
I was just trying to think of somewhere to hide all of our food. Yeah, once I put the carriage around to where we'll camp up, I will hop down and start maybe undoing the horses' reins and stuff.
Mhm.
Let them have a rest.
Yeah, and after today, you see that they do have a fair bit of sweat on them as well.
Yeah.
Once we have the car, the horses untacked and the tents up, Rook is going to sit in the middle of the camp and cast Speak with Plants.
Okay.
I will paste it. And he'll just say,
Hey guys, we're kind of gonna sit here for a couple of hours while we rest. I'd really appreciate it if you didn't get stuck in between our carts, like wheels and stuff. It's not gonna be pleasant for anyone. We'll be out of your grass, ferns soon. We'll be as respectful as we can.
Yeah, and you see a couple of them seem to sway in agreement.
Cool. Yeah, let me know if we overstep.
Sorry, you cut up there for me.
Oh, sorry, I said let me know if we overstep or if we're being
Oh my God, he did
annoying.
it again. Okay.
Yeah. You take the silence as agreement.
Mhm.
See, much easier when you've got a plant that can speak.
is it?
No. Vayne's gonna while we're after we've set up and we're just sort of chilling on a wind down, Vayne's gonna see if he can find another kind of smallish piece of wood. What I want to do is I want to just craft it into a very rudimentary like oval shape, and then do some little holes in it where I can maybe turn it into a horse hair brush for
Okay.
wiping the horses because they're all sweaty.
Um,
And then like a
it's
little
not
thing.
difficult to
Obviously,
find like pieces of wood around here. A lot of them are wet from the rain.
yeah, that's fine. They'll dry out. Or mold, one of the two.
Sure.
But yeah. But I'll do that over. Like I'll put the horsey whittling to the side for a bit and focus on that.
Mhm.
See if I can make something at least half like workable to give them a bit of like a brush down so that they can be comfortable.
All right. And how about the rest of you before you're bedding down for the night?
I'll check the guild book. Any messages?
You flick through to the appropriate page. You see the bookmark is in the same position. There doesn't seem to be any messages at the moment.
Okay. I think that's it.
Alrighty.
Rook will bring the bag of coal into like his chest and then like go into like a fetal position with it while he goes to sleep and wrap himself up.
Okay.
That is smart. That's smart.
And how about yourself, Roshana? Anything else?
I can think of right now.
It's still early days within the forest.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys want to take watch for the night?
Yeah.
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 Mm-hmm.
I'll go first.
I'll
go
take
second.
I'll take third.
Okay. So
I feel
Vayne-
like most of the craziness would happen in the middle.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if Vayne can stay awake
Kato.
after being awake all day, instead of waking up and then doing a thing and then falling asleep again.
Okay.
Maybe it's that. Maybe that's the reason, right? So it is perception.
Yes, please.
Oh. Nope.
Oh dear.
Alrighty.
Oh, that Whitlam.
Okay, you settle
I'm
down
really
for the night.
focused. I'm really focused on the brush.
Okay. Yeah, and yeah, you're concentrating quite hard on the brush, trying to get it smooth enough, and also you're there going, what am I going to do for the bristles?
Horsehair. I'm gonna brush the horses with horsehair.
Okay.
Makes so much sense. Or a porcupine. I don't know. We'll see what we find.
Excuse me. Yeah, you settle down, Vayne, and you're still very much awake. Haven't drifted off like you had last night.
Just oblivious.
And it does get quite dark once more. You have the light of the fire that I'm presuming you put down.
I mean, even if we didn't, I have vision of the darkness.
Oh my god.
Gosh.
We're back.
You look around every now and then. Keep an ear out. Seems quiet.
Too quiet.
But eventually your watch does come to a close. I'm gonna wake up Roshana.
I will go and wake up Roshana. I'll give her a little tap. Little tap, 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 tap. Roshana, time to get up for the watch.
Okay, I'm coming.
Okie dokie. I'll wait outside for her to get up,
I'll get up.
and then I will crawl into tent.
Oh, alrighty. Roshana, if you can give me a perception check as well, please.
Yes.
14. Okay. You settle down in the same spot that Vayne was in, Roshana. Keep an eye out. The fire is starting to go down a little bit, but you figure that's probably a good thing. Don't want to bring too much attention to yourself. You peer up into the branches above you, and you do see what looks to be quite a large owl. Seems to be sat nearby. It's not looking at you, it's got its head turned, but you can see like the tufts of its little eyebrows poking upwards. You. Instinctually, you have to move at some point. And with the rustle, you do see that it does turn its head towards you, and you just see these two big black eyes staring down in your direction.
They are not supposed to be black.
Over where you're sitting.
Okay.
It's like dark vision. You don't really get color distinction. It's just depth. But it
Various shades of grey.
peers down at you. And just kind of like nuzzles down a little bit. It's keeping a wary eye out on your little camp. But yeah, it seems to be sat there for the time being.
Chill.
Is there anything else you'd like to do in your watch?
I'll take a piece of my own ration and throw it towards the owl.
It doesn't flutter or anything. It just watches. Its head goes from you to immediately down. Cranes its neck down to look at it.
I'll just watch it.
Yep. It seems more curious of you than anything else, but it's not getting any closer, and it doesn't want to go for the ration either.
A ration wasted.
And your watch comes to a close. It's time to wake up Kato.
I'll wake up the old man.
Lol.
I'll poke him in the side, in his, like, the annoying poke.
Yeah.
It's time to wake up.
It's longer than usual. Alright.
To note, there's an owl watching us. Or well, yeah.
What color is it?
I do not know. Normal owl color.
Nice.
Fair enough. Alright.
Yeah. You settle on down, Kato, and you're fixing yourself up, adjusting your clothes. You poke content at the fire, and as Roshana said, you feel that sensation of being watched. And you look in the direction, and you do see a fucking giant owl. He's sat up on the branches, looking down at you specifically.
How far away?
About 40, 50 feet. Like, it's big enough that you can see. It's a very large owl. You just see the two beady black eyes looking at you.
You know what? I will proceed to fuck around. I'll just speak to the owl.
Okay.
Hello.
You see immediately just shrieks and flies off into the air. A couple of leaves and branches above, you see in the distance just fall to the forest floor on the ground, and the owl just, you fucked around, the owl found out, and he flitted away.
I am not your average traveler, friend.
Alright, if you give me a perception check, please, Kato.
Will do.
Want to.
Yeah, you're feeling a little bit too comfortable after spooking the owl.
One moment. I can never remember. Okay, the clock program is.
It's attacks only.
Okay. I still have the cradle.
Yeah. Just point of issue. I wanted to go over this again as well. It's not a reaction to use it, so you can't re-roll. You have to like commit to it as an action, so to speak.
I see.
And let the shenanigans commence. But yeah, it's late. It's starting to get a little bit cool now that the fire is dying down. And having spooked off that owl, you think, can't be much else in this forest that can do harm. If the moose is an owl that gets freaked out by the word hello, you think you're alright.
I mean, just keep an eye on our belongings and camp and yeah.
Your watch goes by without a hitch. Rook, you stir awake again, and a familiar sense of deja vu comes over you.
I'll roll out of my tent and look to see who was supposed to wake me up.
He's just very slightly dozing. his meditative state.
I ready my stuff. I go over and then I swing it so that it stops like half an inch from his head to see if he's doing some sort of weird monk I know you're there bullshit.
Mhm.
Do I get a reaction?
No.
Tap.
Kato,
Yes.
good morning.
Uh,
Do you want to head back in?
yeah,
I got it from here.
that you do.
It sounded so menacing. That you do, small man.
Can I check my my rations
Sure. Go for
in
it.
my bag of clothing?
Mhm.
Are they all there?
You are missing 5 extra.
Squints his eyes and just looks throughout the forest.
Mm-hmm.
You know I'll just eat them all if this happens. Then no one gets to be happy.
I say to myself, directed towards the forest.
Okay.
And then I'll walk around the cart and see if anything's gotten in between the
The spokes. Yeah.
spokes.
You take a look around and no, everything seems to have steered clear of the cart.
Good grass, good plants.
I'll go over towards the fire and pump a little bit more life into it, and then sit down for my watch.
Okay. So give me a perception check, please.
Oh,
Yeah. You're a little bit preoccupied with the sheer amount of food that's been taken right from underneath your nose. And despite the fact that, you've all kept a good eye out during the night.
Super distracted by the bit of ration that's on the floor that Roshana threw. What is this?
A trail.
Alrighty. But aside from that, your watch comes to an uneventful end. And I think we'll take a half an hour break here, guys, because I know somebody needs a walk.
Woof.
Ruff.
Wait, is it me?
It's Hachi.
Hatzel.
Ah,
It's been
No,
hot
Hachi-
here, so I can
Hachi need the
during these
belly
hours.
rubbies.
She
Yeah, that's
do.